Hello, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Ariel Selwyn with arielselwyn.com, and today I'm so excited because we have Donella Fields with us today. And Donella is a dear friend, and I value everything she has to say. I'm really excited to dive in a little bit deeper and hear what she has for us today. So Donella Fields is the founder of Team International Incorporated, co-owner of CJR Property Inspections, a registered nurse and certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, teacher, and trainer. So Donella, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of our interview today. I'm so excited for our listeners to hear more about you and what you have to share with us today. So would you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Good morning, Ariel. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure. I absolutely adore you too. So thank you for that great introduction. Sure. So basically, I am a coach and a registered nurse, and I implement all of my knowledge into my businesses. One of them is an international coaching company, which is absolutely fantastic. So if I work with CEOs stateside and they have locations overseas, I'm able to travel overseas and help their organizations over there as well. Really cool aspect of the business. And my husband and I do own a local company here in the Fredericksburg area, and we impart that knowledge and information onto our employees as well. So it fits really, really nicely in everything that we do.
Well, I am always so amazed and impressed at everything that you accomplished and everything you've done. Before we dive into a little bit more about your background, I know our listeners are wondering where you're from. I love your accent, and I'm sure they do too. Can you tell us where you're from?
Absolutely. So I am from England. I was born in a town called Basingstoke. Grew up in another town called Surrey, and then have been in Bournemouth most of my adult life. Whenever I go and visit, that's where my family lives. So very exciting. I love the beach, and I love being a coastal girl, and that's where they live. So I get to go to the beach every time I go home to England.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about yourself, a little bit more about your personal life. So I know you've piqued our listeners' interest about what you do. Can you dive a little bit deeper and just share more about your background? I know I just love the first time I heard just how much depth there is to Donella Fields. I was just wow.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I have been coaching people for over 20 years. I've owned several successful businesses, and I'm also a registered nurse, which is an awesome asset to the business because I can then speak on medical issues such as diseases, victims of diseases. I get to speak on forensics. I specialized in emergency nursing and forensic nursing. Mm-hmm. So the topics that go with those two genres of nursing, if you will, are immense. They're very, very vast. So I get to speak on those as well. And as far as my business coaching goes, essentially what happens is I am in touch with CEOs and hiring managers of different corporations, and I go in there and actually will build a curriculum to their needs. I tailor my coaching to whatever it is they specifically are needing or whatever it is they specifically request. And then of course, medical facilities will have me come in and speak on certain topics. So one of the other things that I have been for years is a medic. I have been in EMS for over 20 years as well. So I do go and speak to paramedic students on their life in the clinical realm, the effect they have on trauma patients and medical patients. So it's a great, great business to be in. I get to share my life stories with others and hopefully impact them as much as the John Maxwell team has impacted my life.
Wow. So I know you're similar to me in that you love to add value, and you're definitely doing that. So how did you get to where you are today with having all of these opportunities? I know that some of our listeners are just wondering, how did you get your foot in the door with all of the opportunities that you have now?
A lot of hard work and a lot of sort of marketing. You have to market yourself, and you've got to, as the John Maxwell team says, you've got to get good first. So I have spent several years training to be certified to add that to my repertoire. Mm-hmm. I have been coaching people for years. It's something that I've always done. And I think my life experiences and the things that I have learned listening to others has given me such insight that I've been able to help people. I think the number one thing we all forget to do is to stop talking and start listening. And I think if we start listening, we'll learn so much more, and then we can share that information and help other people.
Thank you so much for that. So I know that being part of the John Maxwell team has been one of your dreams. Can you share a little bit about how you got involved in that, what caught your attention there, and just how you got to where you are today as being a part of that John Maxwell, being a part of the John Maxwell, being a coach, a speaker, trainer, and teacher there?
Absolutely. So throughout my life, I've had a lot of trials and tribulations in my life, just as many of us have. And some of my lows have been really, really low, and some of my highs have been incredibly high. And when I've been at the low points in my life, I've had to reach out, and I would reach out to my Bible. I would reach out to my faith. And a lot of the books that I would pick up were John Maxwell books. He's a pastor, he's a Christian, he's a world-renowned speaker, coach, and trainer as well. And I just felt like his values lined with my values. So for many years, I've been reading his books. I have been listening to his videos. And, one day I thought, I wonder if he's got some kind of a program. And I researched him, and I researched other programs as well, and decided that he was the best fit for me. I traveled down to Florida to see him and be with him and his team. And the faculty is fantastic. John he says he's your friend, and he means it. It was absolutely wonderful. It was a great asset to add to what I'm already doing. And even though I have been coaching for many years, I didn't feel as though certification was at that point in time something that I needed. And now times are changing. I'm keeping up. So I've added that.
Thank you so much. I so admire you for, knowing what you want to do and going after it and pursuing your goals and your dreams. I really, I know so many of our listeners can, identify with that and just really can learn so much from you. So in your own words, you've been coaching for a while now. So in your own words, what is a coach?
So a business coach, or even a personal coach, you guys already have things in your mind that you want to do, or that you are worried whether you can or cannot do. The idea of a coach is to come in as that third party perspective and take what you already know, or what you think you already know, and propel you to the next level. We believe in growing and stretching and continuously bettering ourselves. And sometimes we just need somebody else to look into us and say, hey, yes, you can do this. Let's try this way, or let's try that way. The coach is a bonus to who you already are, because everybody's already got the tools and the equipment that they need. Sometimes it just needs somebody to tell them that it's there.
So true. So I know you talk about coaching. Would you say that a business coach is different from a regular coach, and how does that play out? And do you coach? Are you a business coach? Are you a coach? Can you talk about that?
So as far as being a business coach, instead of looking at just the individual or individuals involved, you have to look at the business. I look at the business as a person as well, as an entity. So I have to coach that business, and then I have to coach the people in that business. Generally, when a CEO or a hiring manager reaches out to a coach, they already feel that there's something that they're missing, or something that they need to add to their program, add to their business. So I find out what that piece is, and then together we'll sit down and figure out how we can get from where they currently are and get to where they want to go. So it's just incorporating another entity into the coaching, which is usually, obviously, it's a huge piece of that, but the business is still run by individuals. So we incorporate those individuals into that coaching as well.
Awesome. So I know you've piqued some interest. Can you give an example of some of the nuts and bolts, like what it would look like if someone was to coach with you?
Okay.
Maybe like what would the sessions look like? I know you can't give exact details, but maybe some of the topics or how many sessions or
Okay.
that.
I'll try to do that. The sessions differ from person to person depending on what it is they need.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, for an individual, I will sit down with them for 1 hour, generally 1 hour a week. And the amount of time, depending on them, can be anywhere from 6 weeks to years. It just depends on the individual and where they're going, because the whole point is they have to keep growing through our coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as I can provide the tools they need to help that continued growth, then I'm still a good asset for them. Mm-hmm. If we get to the point that we outgrow each other, then I'll move them on to somebody else. However, for business coaching, that's different. It depends on what that business needs. I currently have a client now that I will meet with them once a month with all of the staff, and then once a month I meet separately with the business owner, and we sit down and figure out how the month went, what's it in comparison to say last year's month as well, and then we figure out what's working for them, what's not working for them. We eliminate the things that don't work and we enhance the things that do. Mm-hmm. So by the end of the year, I want them to have the best year they've had. I want them to have the best monetary year. I want their employees to be happy. I want them to have the team building skills in place. I want them to be able to get the best out of the year that they want. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is they want is what I want for them. And together we work through it to get them to that place.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful, very informative. And I love that you have the client's interest at heart. You know, it's all about others, all about people. So can you give us an example of a success story? Do you have any thoughts off the top of your head of someone that came to you and you helped them through a challenging time or got them to where they wanted to be, reach some goals or dreams?
I do, without giving obviously too much information away, because I do have a client confidentiality clause. I do have several success stories. The one that I have just received, though, in the last week is a client of mine that I have been coaching has just landed the biggest contract of their career, and it's a 7-figure contract. It's an incredible thing to be able to see somebody grow to the point of them saying, this is bigger than my wildest dreams.
So
it's just incredible.
Yay.
Yeah, so this individual with their business has done some great things, and you know, that's the part of being a coach. You have to be able to take the information and implement it yourself. So there's definitely some ownership on the other side of a coach. You know, the client has ownership as well. Yes. And that's why it's important to find a coach that's a good fit. Because when you guys work together, the sky is literally the limit. Anything you dream of can happen. You just need to make sure you've got a good fit.
Yes. Well, that's so exciting. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm so thrilled to hear of any kind of success story. So thank you for sharing that with us. So I understand that you're international. So can you share a little bit about what that means?
Yeah. So a couple of things. I have an international coaching program that people can purchase from anywhere. And it is all computer-based. It's all virtual. It's phone calls that are live and recorded. There's some lessons and some trainings on there. It's daily and weekly inspiration and motivation. There's just loads of information on there. And they actually receive that by logging into what I call their back office on my website. And so that one program is there available for them. And then because the way the internet works, there's no limit to who we can help and who we can coach. So because I have a British passport and I am legally allowed to work in multiple countries, I am able to travel overseas as well. So if one of my corporate clients, or even my personal clients, but if my corporate clients would like me as a good fit for their local area or their stateside area, would like me to travel overseas to another location of theirs, absolutely, I would love to do that. I love to travel and I love to help people all over the world. I've actually been to, I think, 13 countries, lived in 3 countries. So well-traveled, and I thoroughly enjoy that. So that's just another aspect. It opens up my clients to be able to keep me. If they like me and we're having a good fit and things are going well, they get to keep me and shove me to another country to help side of their business, which is really, really cool. It's really cool. Not many limitations to what I could do with this business.
Fascinating. So you mentioned your website, and I've seen your website and I think it is amazing. I love it. I love all the resources. I love all the tools. Can you talk a little bit about your website and highlight a few things on there?
Okay, so my website is after my name, so it's www.donellafields.com. Mm-hmm. There are testimonials from clients on there. There's some logos on there of businesses that I have or am currently working with. Mm-hmm. And you can go on there as an individual, and you can go on there as a business owner, and you can choose anything. I can come into your office and do a lunch and learn. Mm-hmm. I can do coaching via the phone or the internet. Mm-hmm. I can do corporate coaching in a conference room of 50 people, mm-hmm. and I could do motivational speaking to thousands. Mm-hmm. So you can, and it's very easy to use. Just go on the website, click what you're looking for, and all the information comes up. And we also have a wonderful weekly email that inspires your inbox every Sunday, prepares you for the work week, and that's on there as well. So if you guys want to sign up for that email, and that also gives you information of what I'm doing. So if you want to come out and see a workshop that I'm doing or a mastermind group, you're welcome to do so. So it's full of great information.
Love it. Thank you so much. So I wanted to talk a little bit about you being a registered nurse. How does that play into your business?
Well, I think that the more knowledge we can gain, the more we can do with it. So being a registered nurse is huge in motivational speaking because I can then speak to patients, I can speak to victims, I can speak to family members who have suffered a loss, I can speak to people that have been cured, people that are dying. The topics, as an emergency room nurse, we have to know a lot of things about the disease process, obviously, because we never know what's coming in. And as a forensic nurse, we deal with sexual assault and bullying and drug abuse and, child abuse and just a vast crimes, a vast array of topics with that. So I have spoken on sarcoidosis for an organization that is nonprofit. I do work with quite a few nonprofits. And I was able to speak to the family members and speak to the patients who suffer from that disease, and having the insight of some of that information and the travels that they go through, their journey they go through when they are suffering from that particular disease, allows me to say things and comfort them, hopefully in a way that somebody who is not a nurse wouldn't be able to do. Mm-hmm. And of course, because of my background as a forensic nurse, I'm able to go into these elementary schools and middle schools and high schools and talk on drug abuse and sexual abuse and bullying and really help those kids, motivate and inspire those children, and show them that they have so much to give this planet, so much they can give to the world and give back. So that's wonderful to be able to do that as well.
Thank you so much. So you mentioned that you speak, and I know you're a keynote speaker, and you mentioned a few of the topics you speak on from being a registered nurse. I've heard you speak on some other topics, and I hang on every word. So I love just how much value you add every time that you speak. Can you share with us a few of the other topics that you speak on?
Absolutely. So I think keynote speaking is it's such a privilege to be able to stand in front of people and speak on a topic that they need to hear and want to hear, and then they phone you or they leave you a review saying how it impacted them in some way. It's such a privilege to be in a position to be able to do that. Some of the topics that I talk about is stepping outside of your comfort zone is a great one. That one, I always get requests for that one we all have to start somewhere, and stepping out of that comfort zone is a great way to start. But people don't understand how to do it. There's certain steps to be able to achieve that, because stepping outside of that zone is terrifying. So I do speak on that topic. I speak on changing our beliefs, changing our habits to allow us to grow, because oftentimes we hold ourselves back. Our perception of things can change. And is it changing for the better, or is it changing for the worse? So I speak on our perception. I speak on having a terror barrier. I speak on confidence. There's just so many different things that I speak to. And I also will author a speech specific to somebody. So for example, for the EMS and paramedic students that I will be speaking to, I'm writing a speech about being a trauma patient. I was a trauma patient 20 years ago, and I nearly lost my life. Well, through that experience, I had to have a trach in my neck, and I had my mouth wired shut, and I had metal plates in my face, and it was a very hard time to go through. Now I can impart that information and that journey, those experiences onto students, and teach them what it's like to be a patient before, during, and after trauma, and what the effect of their role had on me, and what my role had on them, or will have on them. So, being able to write a speech specific to the crowd that I'm going to be talking to is also a wonderful privilege, just to be able to impart some of my knowledge and my life's experiences onto somebody else.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you shared. Before we wrap up, I know you love to learn and grow like I do. What is something exciting that you're working on that we can look forward to?
Currently, I have a workshop that is being held in the Fredericksburg area on March 24th. It's a one-day workshop from 9 until 2. Lunch is included. All of the books and everything are included. It is on putting your dream to the test. It is a John Maxwell book, which is absolutely phenomenal. Basically, we all are working towards something in life, but if that something isn't strong enough to grab us and pull us through the daily difficulties that we suffer, then maybe it's time to change that dream so that we have something that we can get us through the hard parts. So that's going to be a great day of learning, a great day of laughing. It's on Eventbrite. It is an Eventbrite link. And of course, it's all over my Facebook page and my website at donellafields.com, and Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Everything's under my name, so very easy to find.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So I know everyone is just dying to get some more information and to find you. I know you mentioned your website, Facebook. Can you just give our listeners that information one more time before we wrap up and say goodbye?
Yeah, of course. So my website is www.donellafields.com. On Facebook, I am Coach Donella Fields, or you can just look up Donella Fields. Same on LinkedIn, Instagram, and all of the social medias, Google, everything. Very easy to find. And my phone number is 540-207-5290. That's the Team International phone line. So feel free to reach out to us there.
Thank you so much. I love everything you shared. Thank you so much for adding value. And we're just so grateful that you could join us today on arielselwyn.com.
It has been a pleasure. Thanks, Ariel, for all that you are doing. You're doing some great things out there. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.